Hi, welcome to my latest video. Today I'm going to be looking at the boot lid or tailgate handle cover, whatever this thing is here. Okay, this is the housing that has the boot release button. It also has the number plate lights up in there, which I've changed to the LED type. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be removing this old style, pre-facelift style boot handle and replacing it with this style here, which is the longer type, fitted from around about 2011, 2012 onwards. It pretty much coincided with the facelift grille change at the front of the car, and one of the things that Land Rover changed around that time was the boot handle. Okay, so they went from the sort of shorter silver coloured one with the Land Rover letters sort of embossed in it to a long handle. Now normally this part here is chrome, and then I think this bit's black or grey, but it has a sort of chrome strip. Okay, this one is a nice sort of satin black colour. I got this from Powerful UK. I think it was a sort of one of a kind that they had. I'm not sure if they actually sell these regularly, but I bought this on eBay. It was from Powerful UK's kind of sort of bargain bin selling account. Did actually arrive from Powerful UK, and it's either been made in black plastic or it's been maybe it's a chrome one that's been sprayed, I don't know, but it's just this kind of, it was advertised as matte black, although that's actually more of a sort of satin black. So what I'm going to do is to try and swap these handles over. Okay, now it's a really nice day today, blue sky, bright warm sunshine, not that windy, little bit of a breeze. It's, believe it or not, it's the middle of November. Kitty! Pit lane Kitty's out here sunbathing. Oh, Kitty. Okay, so she's going to help me do this, and what I need to do is remove this panel, this sort of inner boot panel, which apparently is removed with a couple of screws up in here somewhere, and then all of that kind of pulls off. Get to the nuts or bolts or screws or whatever is holding this on, undo those, pull that off, carefully remove my brand new LED number plate lights. I don't know if I've got to remove the camera or not. That's actually stuck to the number plate, so I'm hoping that can just stay as it is. And then this boot button, oops, oh, that's interesting. If I press that, yeah, so it clicks in the lock. So I need to sort of disable that. That's worth knowing that that is powered up, obviously, so I can get into the boot when the ignition's not on. So once the car's unlocked, there are live wires in there, okay, permanently live, so I need to be a bit careful of those. So number plate can probably stay where it is. The interesting thing about this type, the longer handle, is it's held on by more bolts. Okay, so you'll see we've got, what have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, which are hopefully in the same position as the other 4 that hold the smaller handle on, but then there's 2 more further out. Okay, so those will need drilling and bolting through the metal, otherwise the ends are going to be flapping around. So what I need to do is offer that up, so remove this, and then offer the new handle up. Now what Powerful UK do is they supply some little sticky white circles. They're like sort of like a bit like those hole punch reinforcing kind of white circles, and they're sticky on both sides, so you stick them to the foam on the back of the handle, and then the idea is that when you put it against the car and take the handle away, it should stick to the car. Now my car needs a wash. It's that time of year really where the lanes are wet and muddy. I washed the car about 2 days ago and it's filthy already, so I need to white this, make sure that the sticky white circles can stick on, and then you use the position of the white circles as a drilling guide. Okay, so that tells you where to drill. So I will need to attack my nice metallic grey bodywork here with a drill or two. So yeah, it's never nice doing that kind of thing, but I think it'll be worth it. It will look nice once it's got the new sort of later style handle. Okay, so to remove the boot panel, there are a couple of screws up inside these grab handles. One screw at the back of each one. So that should... okay. Yeah, there's a sort of a loose kind of bit there, but I don't quite know what that does. Right, now that those screws are removed, I should be able to just pull this sharply downwards. Goodness me. Yeah, you do have to give it a bit of a pull, and it comes away with a bit of a bang. Okay, right, so there is the boot liner, the inner boot panel. It's held on by these white plastic clips. Luckily, none of them have broken, which is amazing. There are 7 in total. I'm trying to work out which side. So this edge here, it goes along the top here. Ah, right. Okay. So there are some metal clips here. Okay. So there's some metal clips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then one is missing. That will be what dropped as I pulled the panel away. This fell on the ground. Okay, so where does it go? Sort of like that. That's too sharp. Right, I'm going to have to get some pliers on that. Right. Okay, that's back in there. That's 6 clips, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then there's a clip in the middle here. One here, I don't know where that must go into that hole. Probably goes into that hole there. Okay, so this is the wiper motor. This here is the transmitter for my reversing camera. Right, so what I want to do is I want to have a look and see if I can see the nuts or bolts or screws that hold on the standard panel. Okay, right, so in there, I don't know if you can see it, in there there's a nut, there's one there, and there's one there, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this one doesn't have one, and I know why that is. It's because the stud broke off and I ended up using the hole for the reversing camera. Okay, so there's 6, should be 6 nuts. I've actually only got 5 of them. Okay, so I'm going to undo those. That should allow the old boot handle to come loose. I might need to sort of split this connector here maybe. Unfortunately, the sky is so bright today that it's really causing it to underexpose, so I'm going to try to zoom in a bit. Okay, that should... yeah, there we go. Right, hopefully... let's just have a look and see if I just... okay, so there's one up in there. Right, but one here. It is a 10mm nut. Let's see if I can mess around with the settings here. That's better. Right, spot, meter, focus. That's the feature that I need to use. There we go. Right, let's get these things undone. Now, I'm just checking. Okay, so there's no washer on these, it's just like a flanged nut. So you just need to be careful not to drop the nuts, otherwise they'll end up down in here somewhere and you'll never get them out. Okay, let's have a look and see what's going on. Right, okay, so that is now disconnected. I need to be very careful here that I don't shut the boot, okay, because whilst I can use this button still to unlock, there's nothing to pull on to open it up. Once this is disconnected, that's it, I can't open the boot, okay, so I'm not going to push that right down, but I do need to have a look at this because it's still attached by various wires. 4 of the 5 remaining studs undid no problem. They feel loose, but they weren't spinning, okay, so I could remove the nuts. This one here has a bit of broken off plastic that's come off here, so that's broken off, and the stud is then free to just spin, okay, so that's why I couldn't undo the nut. So I'll have to grip that with the pliers and undo the nut. This hole here, this stud, bit of plastic here had already broken off and the stud had come out, so I used that for the as a convenient hole for wiring the reversing camera wire through. Okay, let's try to remove those things from here. This is going to be tricky, really. There's not enough room to pull the connectors off the back of these, I don't think. So I need to try and pop these number plate lights back out. There we go. Okay. Disconnect that. Right, that's one. And then do the other one. Come on. Ah, there we go. Right, there's the other one. Okay, so what I've done, I've disconnected this plug at the other end, okay, so that allows that whole thing to come off the car, and now I can work out. So now that I've disconnected that, I can now pull the whole thing through. There we go. Right, it's out. This can be thrown away. I don't think there's any point in selling that on eBay because it's got 2 of its studs missing. So that will go in the bin, and then this will be moved onto the new boot handle. Right, that's looking a bit cleaner now. Now, interestingly, the old boot handle's actually rubbed through here to what looks like bare metal. It might be the primer underneath there and there. It's rubbed. I think that's just from constant movement, opening and closing the boot. It's just, yeah, that has actually worn to bare steel in 2 places, so I'll have to use a little touch-up pen just to cover that, otherwise that's going to rust. Okay, so the camcorder's out of battery now. I'm going to have to leave it here for today. Okay, so here we are the next day. It's still dry and fairly sunny. Most importantly of all is it's not windy. Pit Lane Kitty's still out here skulking around, and I'm going to carry on with this project to swap over the boot lid handle, or the tailgate handle or housing, number plate light housing, call it whatever you want, but it's the thing that kind of goes here, which has the boot button, the boot latch release button, and the lights that shine downwards onto the number plate. So yesterday I removed the standard housing. Okay, so let's open this up and press the button and then pull on there. This standard silver old style housing. Okay, so that is the old housing that I removed, and I'm going to replace it with this nice later style long black housing. So they started fitting, so Land Rover started to fit these when they changed the grille style. Okay, so the grille changed to the later facelift grille, and that was done around late 2010. So vehicles with a UK 6060 reg tended to be fitted with the facelift grille, although there were there's always a few exceptions to the rule, really. So so it was around about September 2010. You sometimes get 2010s with the facelift, sometimes 2010s without, but if yours is 2011 onwards, you will have the facelift grille, and you should have this long number plate cover, number plate boot handle, number plate light housing. Yours has probably got chrome strip here. Okay, so Land Rover fitted, I think this was black or grey, I'm not sure, but this bit here was chrome. I managed to get this one from Powerful UK on their sort of eBay outlet kind of seller page, and I'll put the name of the page at the bottom of the screen now. I can't remember what it was. It was something like budget 4x4 parts or something like that. This one is matte black. Now I honestly don't know if this is like a genuine one that's been sprayed, or maybe it's like a prototype. They were trying to get some made in black, or maybe that Land Rover actually fitted black with black here instead of the chrome. Maybe they actually fitted that to some models. I'm really not sure, but anyway, I saw this for sale, £90, so I bought it, and going to be swapping this one for this one. That's something I've been meaning to do for quite a long time. So yesterday I removed this old style handle, and I made a bit of a mistake while filming. Okay, so I had to up the exposure. I put it on a sort of manual exposure setting to enhance the light under here a little bit when I was filming, showing undoing the nuts. Unfortunately, I left that exposure wound up for the rest of the filming session. Forgot to put it back to auto. So a few of the clips yesterday afternoon towards the end, before the battery went flat on the camcorder, were a little bit overexposed. Apologies for that. I've put it back to auto today, so it's super dark under here. If we go really close, it actually does adjust, but it's because of this bright light here and here that it's the exposure is all going a bit out. So I ran out of time yesterday. The camcorder ran out of battery around about 4 o'clock. I stopped filming because it was getting dark by then. So I left the car like this overnight with this dangling here. Now, why did I do that? Well, I thought if I disconnect this, so it unplugs inside and pulls out, this whole grommet here pulls out, then I've got no way of getting back into the boot. I can pull on the wiper to actually open it. There's no way to actually release the latch. It's different to unlocking. Okay, so we have the lock and the unlock, but unlocking doesn't mean you can open the boot. Okay, there's nothing to grab onto. Okay, so without this, I can't unlatch the boot to actually lift it open. One of my Instagram followers mentioned that the key fob has a boot button which actually unlocks, well, it's not so much, which actually unlatches the boot. So let's just try that. Okay, so that has worked. So I suppose the big test here is to disconnect this. Come on camera, adjust the exposure. There we go. Right, let's disconnect that. This is the problem, you see, it's so dark. The camera's not exposing. Okay, so I've disconnected this red and black plug here is for the, not just the boot button, the boot latch button, but it also does the, well, interestingly actually, let's have a look. So there's one wire here with four pins on it. Okay, so there's one cable with 4 pins, but that then comes out of this grommet here as 2. Okay, so if we get rid of that, pull that through. Right, okay, so there is that disconnected. Let's just put that down there. So that cable feeds the boot button and both number plate lights. Now that is now latched. It's not locked, it's unlocked, but I can't open it because it's on the latch. Now I was a bit worried that if I got into this situation yesterday, I would have to crawl through the car and plug this back in on the other side of the boot lid, and to be able to press the button to then undo the latch. I really hope that the key fob does the trick. Right, phew, thank goodness. Thank you very much, Instagram follower, for pointing that out. That's worth remembering, because once this is taken off, that key fob button is the only way to get back in. Okay, right, so what am I going to do today? So I need to, if I just put this down like that, I need to pull out this wire here, which is for my my reversing camera. It has a very slim line plug on the end, which is good because it fits through that hole. So I'll leave the camera there just with that wire dangling. The reason I've taken that out is so that I can then offer up the new handle with no wires and cables getting in the way, so that can fit firmly against there. The new boot handle comes with some little self-adhesive white circles, which when you press against the bodywork, the circles will hopefully be left stuck to the car, not stuck to the foam on the back of the handle, and that then shows us where we have to drill. So I have to drill some holes. I need to drill another hole to feed this through, because that was using one of the old stud holes, that one of the old the 6 studs that held the old pre-facelift handle on. One of those had broken off, so I just used the hole for this wire, but I don't want to cut one of the mounting holes from the new one. I want to use all, how many are there? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? It's either 8 or 10 screws, but I need to drill a couple of extra holes here, here and here, and here and here for the outer ends of the new handle. Okay, this one is reused for the number plate lights and the boot button. They will just be transferred over into the new housing. And I also, now I've locked myself out again, let's press the button. Right, I also need to get probably a 20mm hole saw and make a hole. Hopefully you can see that. I'm not going to put the exposure setting onto manual again. I need to make a hole here, and that is so that we can put the screw in for the very outer mounting screw for the new handle. I need to do that here, and I need to do it here as well. here. It's sort of about halfway between these two. What I'll do is I'll drill the pilot hole from the other side, and then I'll be able to sort of work it out. This one's fine. Yeah, actually, so we've got 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there are 8 screws on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 screws, not 10. Okay, well, okay, that's a bit why have they given us so many of these? Okay, well, let's just line these up. Okay, I really hope that the innermost 6 holes are in the same positions as the old ones. Right, I don't think they are. I don't think they are, you know. These ones with the square foam are in the right place. The ones with the round foam need drilling. I didn't get any instructions with this, unfortunately, so I'm sort of kind of guessing at this. So, right, how many of these things have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Have I got to drill 6? Okay, but there's only 4 round thingies here. Oh dearie. Right. Okay. Right. So what I'm going to do now is put these little white circles on. Not that one, because that's got a peg. So the 2 with the pegs you leave. Okay, right, that's all the sticky circles done now. I'm now going to close the boot lid and try to very, very carefully put this into position so that the circles stick to the car. Right, there we go. That was quite difficult. Luckily the pegs stick out slightly further. You can get those lined up on the holes before you push the rest of it down. So now what I can do is carefully pull this away, and the idea is it leaves the sticky circles stuck to the car. Oh, right, it's worked. These 2 almost came away. Okay, there we go. Just make sure those are definitely stuck down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some measurements out from a sort of centre line outwards and downwards as well. Just make sure they're the same left and right. This will be useful for anybody who's buying their boot lid handle second hand and not as part of a kit that comes with these sticky circles. Okay, so what I'll do is I will double check the measurements the same, and I'll sort of put a pen mark where I need to drill as well. But what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to measure relative to the existing holes. All right. So these 2 holes, these 2 markers here, the centre of those 2 are 19 millimeters in from the existing holes. Okay. So let's just get that right. 19 millimeters in, and they're on the same horizontal line. Okay. So this one here is 20 millimeters. Okay, That's 20 millimeters across. And it is very, very slightly lower. This hole actually is not quite round, it's very slightly oblong, and that's probably because this is sloping, and the bolt went in like that, so it needed a very slightly elongated hole. So this one here might possibly need to be drilled the same. The centre there is coming out a little bit lower. It's more sort of about a third of the way up this hole. Okay, so from the centre of the oval, we're probably talking about 2 millimeters lower. Okay, so about 2 millimeters down from the centre point of this hole, and then 20 millimeters. Okay, so the bottom of the glass down is 51 millimeters. Okay, so 51 millimeters down. This one over here, from this factory hole here, is 185. Okay, so 185 millimeters across. And the distance down is also 51, so it's exactly the same as this one. Okay. Right, okay. So these two holes here, 51 millimeters down from the bottom of the glass, and 20 millimeters and 185 millimeters from the center of this hole. So I'm now going to check that this side is exactly the same. Okay, so let's have a quick look at what I've done here. I've marked up where I need to drill. Just to recap, and apologies for the shadows, it's very, very sunny now today. Can't really complain. These two sticky circles here, the point there is 19 millimeters inwards from the center of this factory hole. 19 millimeters inwards from that one, and the same sort of latitude. Okay, so the same horizontal, you just draw basically a horizontal line across between the centers of those holes, and that gives you your vertical cross as well on these holes. Okay, so I've marked those. These ones here, 20 millimeters out from the center of this slightly elongated hole across, and this one is 185 millimeters out, both of them 51 millimeters down from the bottom of the glass. And then I've marked these exactly the same, 20 millimeters, 185, 51 down. You'll notice that the marks are not quite in the center of these holes here. That's because these got a bit stretched as I was pulling the handle away. Okay, so that is it. Those are the places where I need to drill on the outside. I need to do a couple of holes on the inside. We'll worry about that in a moment. But let's get these holes drilled first. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, because there's danger of the drill skirting around on the paintwork and making scratches and a real mess of the bodywork, I'm going to put some translucent masking tape over here and then just remark this. Now, when Powerful UK did this, they centre punched the bodywork. I'm not going to do that. I can't find my centre punch at the moment, but a centre punch probably would be a better way to do this, but tape we'll just have to do. Okay, yeah, I can actually see that cross through there. Yeah. put a bit on each of these. Right, okay, ready to drill. Right, I'm going to start off with a 3mm drill, then a 5, then an 8. Start at this end. Okay, so the holes are drilled from the outside. Let's quickly disconnect from the tripod. Right, now hopefully this isn't too dark. So let's start off. Okay, so up in here you can see 2 holes. One's the original and one's the new one, and the same on this one here. Okay, so that's 2 of the 6 holes. The centre, right, that one has got the oblong, and that one there, you can see here in amongst the wires, has got the small hole. Okay, so they're the only 2 of the 6 that we can, or only 2 of the 8 holes that we can reuse. So we've got new holes here and here. And up in here we've got new hole alongside the factory one, and the same here, and then right at the very end we've got our outermost holes. Okay, now these ones are going to be very, very difficult to get the screwdriver onto. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually drill a hole kind of here with like a 20mm hole cutter, so I can actually get the screwdriver up onto that. Okay, and the same over here, so it'll be probably around here, so I can go sort of straight in up to the hole. Okay, all the others have got these nice access holes here, so I need to make something a little bit like this over here and here. Right, I've just remembered something. I need to make another hole for this camera wire to go through. So I'll probably put that, can't use this, that's where the big grommet for the other wires comes through, but I need to sort of make it probably next to that, take the wire up and through there. So I'll mark that and drill that, and then that's all the drilling on the outside done. So I'm going to put this grommet, a little grommet there that takes a 10mm hole. So I'm going to try and just kind of squish that into the hole there for the camera. There we go. Okay, so that's sitting there nicely, and that will take the camera wire. So the location of the access holes that I'm going to drill here is, I'm going to make about a 20mm hole about here. Okay, so it doesn't have to be exact. So as long as it's sort of somewhere between these two holes here, you could put it directly in between. I'm going to go slightly to the side just based on where that hole is there. I think that's going to come down about there. Okay, so it's sort of halfway in between and about 1 centimetre across towards the seal on the outside. And I'll do the same over here. Okay, so halfway in between and then 1 centimetre outwards. Okay, so about there. It just gives a little bit more metal as well to make a hole in. Okay, so what I'm going to use is this, which is a 22mm hole saw, and it's got a sort of pilot drill in the middle which looks like about 6mm or something like that. So I'm going to put that on the drill and then carefully, slowly drill up into there, and the same over here. Goggles definitely required for this. I'm drilling upwards. I'll use the little hoover as well to catch any swarf that falls. Right, okay, that's one done. That was, yeah, I was getting showered in red hot swarf. Okay, yeah, well, that's done, that's one. Right, that's the next one done. Right, here's our new hole there. That's a new access hole, and you can see we can get to the screw head to tighten that up. I'll put a little bit of paint around here. It's not super critical because this is not on the outside of the car, it's on the inside, which should be a lot drier. And then we've got the same over here, you can see there. So this needs to be fed through this hole here. Okay, so you can't get it through the other way. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put that in position now and clip it in. Now, which way does it go? Let's have a look. So I reach underneath and I press, so it's that way round with the sort of that bulgy bit towards the back of the boot handle. There we go, that's clipped in. Number plate lights I'll deal with in a moment. They can go in from outside. Right, let's get this fed back through. I haven't put any of the screws in yet. All the wires are run correctly. The camera wire goes up through there. Let's just see if the boot button works. Yes, it does. I can hear the boot latch operating. Right, I'm now going to try and put some of these screws in. Okay, right, we're getting there. The sun is going down now. It's starting to get a bit dark, so I'm going to put my little illuminator light on. Hopefully you can see what I've been doing. So all 8 screws are now tightened up. Okay, so these ones here with these holes that I made were fine to get to. Well, that one there was okay. This one here was a bit fiddly. The ones behind these oblong holes were okay. Didn't really have an issue getting to that one, even though these ones are kind of over at a bit of an angle. By using the Allen key that's got the sort of ball kind of end to it, that really helped, because you could get it in at a bit of an angle. That one, these were okay. These were okay. No, actually these two, this one, let's try and see what we're doing here. That one and that one were awkward because they were at a bit of an angle. That was fine, that was fine. So one by one I've tightened them up. Let's see what it looks like on this side now. Okay. Right, so that has got condensation on it now. That shows the temperature's dropping a bit. But that handle is on and that is solid. That is secure. I mean, it does flex a little bit, but then again, the old previous one flexed. The screws are all tightened up. There was no torque setting and any instructions or anything, so I just did them sort of tight by hand. That is now working. I need to put the number plate lights back in now. They should be pretty easy to fit back in. And then I've got to tidy up all this wiring here for the camera, and yeah, connect this little plug back in. That all kind of tucks out of the way with a cable tie around it, just to kind of hold it all, stop it sort of rattling around. Just a little word of caution here. When I was doing one of these, I think it was this one here, I was doing it with the ratchet thing, and the little hex Allen bit at the end came out and then went all the way down and ended up sort of here inside, unable to get at it. So what I did is I've got one of these kind of magnetic, it's actually a torch, but it's got a magnetic end to it, and what's more, it has a sort of a gooseneck flexy kind of neck on it. So I managed to stick that carefully sort of down in there, waggled it around a bit, and luckily eventually it found the bit. Otherwise that's going to be scooting around in there, rattling away for years. So I've got that now. All of these here are tight. Let's just double check these without dropping the bit again. Okay, so that's tight. Now it's a case of kind of one by one tightening these up, but half of them I can't even see. Right, where is it? There it is. Right. Do not. It's done it again. It's done it again. It's done it again. Come back. Oh, dearie me. Oh no. Come back. Oh, phew. I've got it right. So that's how easily it can happen, especially these ones here that are at an angle. The bit gets stuck in the bolt, and then you pull your tool out and the blooming thing ends up scooting around inside there. Okay, right, I'm gonna put this on the tripod now and do the number plate lights, and then it's tidy the wiring, put the panel back on, and we're there. These should be really quick and easy to fit, and all we're looking for is that little recess. There's a little recess there, which is where this clip goes. So let's get that connected onto there, make sure that clipped in. Oh, come on, get in there. There we go. Now let's just put the headlights on and just check that they light up. Good, brilliant. Okay, so only thing left now, because it is getting a bit dark, is tidying up this wiring and putting the boot liner back on. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. The camcorder batteries are fading fast, so I'm going to stop filming, get the wires tidied, and the next thing you'll see is with the boot cover going back on. Okay, so we're nearly there. That's the wiring all tidied up, cable tied that all up in there so it doesn't rattle around. Now I need to refit this. Okay, so I've just checked that I can shut the boot and I can then reopen it, lock the car, unlock, and get back in. And I've checked the number plate lights as well, and they both work. So let's whack this back up in here. Okay. Can't remember if I think there's one in the middle. There's one in the middle about there. What I'm going to do. Make sure all of those are pressed back in. Right. Okay, that is it. That is it. Let's see. Okay, that's closed. Locked. Make sure that I can't open it. Locked, yeah, that's locked. Unlocked. And that works perfectly. Okay. Let's try the number plate lights. There we go. That's really good. And they're in there nice and solid. Now this is covered in condensation now because it's getting dark and it's still getting cold. I'll give all this a wash off tomorrow. There's a lot of bits of plastic and mess all over it. The glass is completely frosted up on the inside. Temperature is dropping rapidly now. It's been a lovely warm day, but it's going to be a cold night because it's pretty much clear sky. Right, that is the end of it. That is the end. Okay, so that is a good example of a project that I thought would take under an hour, and it ended up taking almost 2 days. I hope that video was useful. It shows you that you can change from the old style boot handle over to the longer facelift type. It's not that easy, but hopefully this video has shown you how to do it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.